Hey, Jason Rice here with Lotpop, the Friday before Christmas. We're doing 21 days of do's and don'ts. Now, didn't say consistently. I tried to do Monday through Friday. I've been saying that. This is number 11. I missed the last couple of days. One, just kind of a cold and congested, but also, you know, looking at what's coming up. I wanted to not just throw a bunch of stuff at you. And so there's been a couple things going on. What's up, Adam? How we doing, bud? That on a personal level, but it also made me reflect on the dealership level. What I mean by that is, I've been in August, I kind of became what I hated in a way. And what I mean by that, I started road cycling, and I hated those guys on the road with their tight clothes and acting like a car. And I started picking up the bike, just get some exercise. I actually wanted to maybe at some point in time in my life try to do a triathlon. Well, I haven't ran in a while. I was doing running consistently, but it's been a year or two. Getting older, 45, my knees and everything else. I figured, well, if I do a triathlon, swim, ride a bike or run, well, I'll get a bike, and that will get my cardiovascular up and start getting in shape, and then I'll pick up running or swimming down the road. So I've been biking a lot and doing a lot of exercise here in the last couple months, and just last week or two, I was told, actually it was this Monday, Tuesday, and another reason why I wasn't on doing these, totally depleted. I was weak, my rides were been weak, and I was looking at my apps and I was realizing, I was burning on average 3,000 calories, and talking to my son and stuff, where like, you're probably not even intaking 2,000 calories. You weren't filling your pipeline. I don't have enough fuel. I'm burning more than I'm consuming, and I was getting totally depleted. I'm feeling a lot better now, but I realized, going back to dealerships, is, one of the things that, and there's two areas right now with inventory management that's going on with dealers right now. There's either dealers that cut back and slimmed their inventory levels going into slower months, kind of like me with this calorie intake and outtake. You don't have as much coming in as maybe that you can be burning, or what you used to burn as far as inventory wise. You might be cutting back a bit. And I do think when business picks back up, you might not have enough fuel, and you're going to force things in, and I think you're behind. And again, if you always consistently run without enough fuel, not enough inventory coming in, eventually you could crash and burn. But then the opposite end, the other thing some dealers are doing is buying in bulk and stocking up for the tax season coming up next year, January, February, or February, March and stuff. And they're buying now at a cheaper rate than what they can be buying then, and they're kind of bulking up. And I kind of, again, use the analogy of somebody that's 300 pounds wanting to lose weight to get to 200 pounds. It's a ton of work, and it's life-changing things have to happen for that person to do that and do it healthy. So dealers that bulking up could be fine, but if February, March turns around and it's not as strong as they hoped, April, May, and June is going to be painful months to burn out of. So what I realized is dealers that consistently stay where they're at, don't get too heavy or too depleted, are our most successful dealers. Goes back again to exercise, and somebody that stays around their ideal weight, whatever that is, 150, 200, for that person that stays around their ideal weight, Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that food next, the holiday food and everything, it doesn't affect them as much, because they're always just around that, they're 200. Well, if they get up to 210, it's easy to lose 10 pounds. It's a lot harder to lose 50, 60, or 100 pounds, right? Or if I want to be around 200, I get down to 150 and I'm not bringing, and I look unhealthy and I'm thin, I'm not bringing enough calories, it's unhealthy too for your, so same thing with your inventory. The dealers that stay at that number, and again, let's say 200 units, they can dabble and play and get up to 210, 220, and see if that inventory is still working. And if not, it's a lot easier to cut it back down to 200. But if they end up selling a bunch of cars and not replenishing it, their sales go from 200 a month down to 150. And then all of a sudden they start trying to bulk up and get back up to 200. like a lot of dealers that cut back right now, that's what they're going to try to do in January or February and March when business picks up. They're going to try to bulk back up. But what happens is they're the ones at the lane buying in bulk, paying top dollars for those cars. And then all of a sudden they're going to be they can't make any profit. Turnaround time suffers because for 2 or 3 months of October, November, December, my turnaround time, my staffing, has gotten lazy, and they, maybe only handle a few cars here and there going through service and photos and descriptions and everything, 2, 5 a day. Now all of a sudden I'm trying to bulk back up and I'm putting 15 on them and 15 cars going through, and they just don't have the energy to get through all, and the process is to get that stuff going. So as you try to bulk up because you sat low for so long, you end up jamming things up and not maximizing February, March because you're behind. And then again, the same thing will happen with those guys that overstocked, went from 200 units to 250 or 300, hoping that they have big, strong months. Well, if they don't have it, they got to get that 300 units down to 200 again. So the dealers that stay around their ideal weight or their ideal inventory, always carry what you sell what you carry. And then get that process right for 3 to 6 months. Then add 5 or 10 units. Get that process right for 3 to 6 months, and add 5 or 10 units, or whatever that percentage is for your lot. Don't just have big selling months. All of a sudden you try to go bulk up because you're selling what you're carrying, and now you want to carry more so you can sell more, and then things jam up. We see that way too many times. Same thing with leads. A lot of times, and a lot of vendors, even ourselves in November, take a lot of hit. We get a lot of cutbacks and cancellations October, November, because dealers are going into slower months and they start cutting back expenses and they start cutting back lead providers and to start saving money in these slimmer seasons. So what happens is, though, most customers are 30, 40, 50, 60, 90 days out. Right? There's probably 10, 20% that are instant buying within a day or two or within a week. But then the rest are, pushing out 30, 60, 90 days down the road. So when dealers slim down and try to cut expenses in October, November, December, cut out lead providers, cut out search engine marketing, start tightening the budgets a bit to hunker down to get through the winter. And then January, February, March comes back and they get back online, and they start spending some money because the sales are coming. Well, what happened is you depleted your pipeline. The pipeline isn't full. And a lot of dealers in February and March are going to be selling deals that they were working in November and December, customers that they've been working for 30, 60, 90 days. And now you're trying to play catch up. And so you're not maximizing those selling months in February and March. You're going to get the low hanging fruit, the people that buy right away, just got their tax checks and stuff. But there's been people that have been shopping since November and December. And there's dealers that have been following up from them for 3, 4 months now. And those dealers should be earning their customers' business first, and then you're second. So as dealers cut back into expenses, into their leads coming into these slower months, it ends up costing them. Again, going back to health, if you're not bringing enough fuel against your calorie burn, you're going to get depleted, and it's going to take a lot to get back on your feet. So again, kind of a little personal twist there, but looking at it's ideal. Again, the dealers that stay at their ideal lead rates, ideal inventory levels, and then fluctuate a little bit here and there. The dealers that run consistently clean, consistently flow, have the ability to experiment and have more fun. They could jam another 10 or 15 units, 20 units on their lot. They can add budget here, cut budget back here. They can play around a little bit and just barely take a bump or a hit. But somebody that binges and just shoots up and overextends themselves, or underextends themselves and cutting back, ultimately is not very healthy, and it isn't going to catch up to them. And I've got stats, if you want to see these. Our dealers, again, that stay at the closest percentage of their sale rates, their inventory levels do, they're the ones that have the least amount of sales going out over 60 days old, going out on aged cars that are killing your gross. So I hope this tip was helpful. Keep that pipeline full. I know it's a little too late in this, it's December, but man, get back, getting these leads in, keep your inventory, inventory flow, keep bringing in cars, not just carrying what you sell. If you sell 2, but you're carrying 1 to go buy 1, you got to do that. You carry to those sellers, but also look at the ones that are about ready to leave. Look at your aged cars that should be leaving your lot soon. Look for those replacements out. Keep that pipe filled. Give us a call, 844-LOTPOP4. Go to lotpop.com, free evaluation, and then YouTube. All these videos are there, 150 tips. Again, have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Give us a call or email if you need anything.